to welcome you tonight to an evening of questions and answers and a little music. I'm Al Nichols, the director of the Stony Center. And before we begin, I want to explain how this is going to work tonight. As you can see, there are people on each side of each door with a microphone. During the course of the evening when Mr. Joe will be taking questions, please raise your hand and Mr. Joe will point to you. You will be handed a mic, ask one question, and return the mic to who gave it to you. Before we get started tonight, President Kenny, County Exec Bob Gaffney, Stony Brook students, and all of our guests, I'm delighted to announce that due to Mr. Joel's concern for the lobster die-off of Long Island Sound, he will be donating his fee for tonight's program to Stony Brook University's Marine Science Research Center.
In Stony Brook back in the 70s as one of our first headline gigs, you know? We were playing at college, man. And I had been the opening act for the Beach Boys. That was a lot of fun. You go on, and it's in the summertime in a stadium. And now to open the show, and the crowd's going, Beach Boys, Beach Boys. Mr. Billy Joel, and I was like, open, close. Soft, hard, hot, cold. Somebody else is here. Beach Boys, Beach Boys, Beach Boys. And you go on. Boo, 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 boo. We're doing piano land. Boo, 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 boo. And I had to play a white piano. Beach Boys had a white piano. White piano. So I hate white pianos. Pianos should be black. But we played at Stony Brook, and we played at some gym, your civic, basic acoustic nightmare gym, Stony Brook. I'll be back as you are. And they're still talking about that, students. Anyway, so what I'd like to do is open the house to questions, and you got a question? Please try to make it one question, not a six-parter, First, I want to know, and then I'd like to find out, but before I finish, I just want to do this and that and that thing. It kind of negates other people being able to ask questions. It's only so much time. And, let's see, now there's also supposed to be, is there what am I looking for? Where's Max? Where's that, there's supposed to be some people, some journalists from the school. Where are they located? Now, that's it? status. Big book, you know. Nothing personal, just you know, a whole gaggle of paparazzi. So, but I will ask you a question because they asked if I would ask you guys questions, answer your questions. So I will. But anyway, so let me turn the house lights out and see. Oh, the people behind you love you. I actually do know what I look like. A vague notion about it. Yes. So I'm going to open the house to questions. That's me, yeah. No. You want me to do something with that? Well, I sign it. Oh, okay, yeah, but we'll do it later. Okay, pass it down to one of the journalists. And I'll sign it. But not right now. I mean, we'll do it. It kind of interrupts the flow of things, you know. All right, so now, if you can take that key light down a little bit, yeah, I can see what I can step the hand on. There we go. All right, so we're going to start right in the middle and see how this fire hazard technique works. A woman right here, yes. Wait for the microphone, and then hopefully we can all hear what your question is. What is this, an alarm clock? What is this? I have a clock on stage. I got a watch here. I'm sorry. Like the crew that comes with me, they want to remind me when to shut up and go. I'm sorry.
Well, thank you for coming. And I was wondering if you could explain what the song Code of Silence is based on.
Ooh. Code of Silence is based on you want to write about something and you can't really tell anybody. So I'm in a quandary. I'm at the end of, what album was that? The Bridge? 1986, 87. Good wine here. Good Bordeaux. And so I'm in the studio. I'm in the Hit Factory in New York. And we're on the third floor or something, Studio A or Studio B, and below us is Cyndi Lauper, where I was working. This is, mid to late 80s. And Cindy's doing her new album, Cindy's walking. So I'm stuck, and I'm walking around, and I'm walking.
What's the matter? I noticed that you're troubled. You look like you're troubled. You need help with something?
I said, yeah, I'm stuck. I got writer's block. I can't figure out how to say nothing, essentially. So she goes, well, all right, I want you to just throw out some words. So it's like going to like a psychoanalyst office. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, code, silence. And you can't say anything. How do the lyrics go? I don't even remember. You can't talk about it because you're following a code of silence. It's like you got to have. It actually goes back to, there's an old Frank Sinatra song, which I really like, which actually says it's so much better than what I wrote. I'll play it. Anyway, so Cyndi helps me write the lyrics. It's the only time I ever co-wrote a song with anyone, and I'm never going to do it again. Nothing personal, it was just kind of a real pain in the neck. But this is so much better than what I wrote. Basically, I was trying to say this. And I don't remember all the words. It's 2:45. There's no one in the room except you and me. So set 'em up, Joe. I got a little story I think you should know. We're drinking, my friend, to the end of a brief episode. So make it one for my baby, one more for the road. I got the routine, put another, what is it now, 250 in the machine. Feeling so bad, can't you make the music kind of easy and sad? I could tell you a lot, but a gentleman's got to be true to his code. So make it one for my baby, one more. Checks. Long, long road. It's actually being asked to talk about something that's personal, and there's some things you don't talk about, even though you're dying to talk about it. So that's where the song really came from. It was also the last song on the album that I wrote, I think, on that album. It was the bridge. The bridge wasn't a fully realized album for me. There were problems with the musicians, and the production wasn't feeling right at that time, and I just had my daughter was born not too long before that, and I didn't really want to get back into my old routine of writing and touring and recording. I just wanted to stay home with my baby, you know. And so the album wasn't really fully realized for me. It was a difficult album to write, and the end of it was talking about not being able to say something. So, should have given me a clue. Okay, let me take another question, please. So lift up the lights. There we go. I will sign it, I promise. I will, but I'm not print your question just because you have a picture of me. It's a good cheap trick. Normally that would work, you know. But yeah, over here on the left there's a fellow all the way at the end of the aisle waving. It's not, Mike isn't on.
That's okay.
Okay.
You did a great Frank Sinatra impersonation, by the way. In my American history class, I teach the Vietnam War, and I use your song, Midnight Saigon, as a motivation. What was your motivation for the song?
Ooh. Okay, that particular song I wrote for my friends. I grew up in Hicksville, right? Specifically the Levittown part of Hicksville, which was not the old money part of Hicksville, where all the mansions are, but the Levittown part of Hicksville. And when I went to school, a lot of people, most people I know, didn't even talk about going to college. Most people went to work right after high school. You go to get a job, or you go into the service. Everybody I knew was going into the service, or they were going to get a job. Or they had a job and they were just biding time until they got out of school. And a lot of my friends went into the Army, the Navy, the Marines, Air Force, and they went overseas, they went to Vietnam, and I heard a lot of bad things from people, but there was really never any cathartic process with these guys. They never came back to a parade. Nobody waved any flags for them. Nobody said thank you. There was a lot of dissension over that war. There was a lot of disagreement about that war. I didn't want to go fight in that war. I was actually a draft dodger myself. And I got out of because of the lottery. My draft board was Great Neck, and my number in the lottery that year was 197, and the draft went up to 195. So I missed by 2. So a lot of my friends went over and came back kind of messed up. They were never welcomed home. So one night, this was during the early 80s when I wrote the song, a couple of my friends came over and we sat around and they said, we want you to write a song about what would happen to us. I said, I can't do that. I didn't go there. I can't write a song. What do I know? They said, we'll tell you what happened. And you write the music. And I said, well, if you had to say one thing, if you had to use one phrase to describe what the experience was like over there, they said, we felt completely alone. All we had was each other. And we thought we were all going to die. They all thought it was just a matter of time before they all took a hit. And which is where the phrase, we'll all go down together came from. So the song started. I'll play it. Which is almost like a hymn. There's something kind of Presbyterian. So I knew that would be the key phrase. I took the footprint, believe it or not, from the Beatles song on the Sgt. Pepper album, A Day in the Life. Right? If you look at the footprint of that song, John Lennon, they start out with the piano, and then it goes down to John Lennon and the guitar. I read the news today. He starts off and it's very soft, it's very quiet, it's one guy with this one, and then it builds into this thing. Woke up, lying in bed, back home across my room. And then all these different segments kind of jam together. So when we start the song, it's start with the bugs, where there's a little glass tinkling, right? It was in the sound effects of that, I don't know. And then the bugs and the crickets. Hot, humid, muggy, okay, we get it, all right, we got it. You're in the jungle, we got it. And there's another and so we got the recording of a Huey helicopter, and then that kind of dies out. And I wanted it to be a guy, at the end of the day, with a guitar, just spent. We met our souls on clouds. We left our wings from our side, and we were sharp. 30s and 40s. Because there's some nights I just don't hit that note. The whole crew is like going, is he gonna make it? They're taking bets backstage. You know? He ain't gonna make it tonight. And then it goes, and then the voices come in, like brother to brother, we promised our mothers we'd write, and there's the whole big mass thing, and we would all go down together. So we're all his bass voices, and there's like 50 voices, and violins, and trombones, and planes flying. It's this apocalyptic thing. I remember the thing that got me really to write this song was I read The Red Badge of Courage. Anybody here read that book, Red Badge of Courage? It's by a guy named Stephen Crane. Now, this is the definitive book about the Civil War. The guy didn't fight in the Civil War. Stephen Crane was not a Civil War veteran. He wrote the book after the war, based on talking to veterans about war. Upton Sinclair wrote a book about the Civil War. Wonderful book. Eric Maria Remarque wrote All Quiet on the Western Front about the German soldiers in World War I. They were the enemy. In World War I, the Germans were the Krauts, you know? They were the bad guys. They were the enemy. And you read this book, and all of a sudden you have sympathy for these guys. You realize they're just like us. They're just like we are. They're sitting in the trenches. There's flies buzzing around. There's rats. There's dead bodies. It's horrible. And ultimately, that kind of statement is an anti-war book. It's not about, let's have sympathy with the German side. It's about war is a terrible thing and it should not happen. We've got to stop these things. So, I felt a little strange about writing the lyrics, but they gave me the story. This is what happened. We went to boot camp, and then we went over there, and this is what happened. We held the day, and they had the night. They were terrified of the night. All the guys were scared of being there at night because the Charlie, the Viet Cong ruled the night. That's how they did all their attacks. So I wrote the song, and I cast it by these guys. So what do you think? That's it. That's the song. So that's what the idea is. So the jacket. Thank you, Jerry. I can buy a lot of jackets now. Let me take another question, please. Okay, so we've been here, we've been there. Let me get democratic. We go all the way to the back. The really poor people's seats. Now, don't try to undo the white paper thing. That's a good cheap trick. It's actually very visual. Okay, you get points for that. All right. The white paper thing does. Now everybody's waving white paper.
Hi. My little sister couldn't make it tonight, so she wants me to give you this, and she wants to know what inspired you to write "We Didn't Start the Fire."
Okay. Is this going to be one of those nights where you just ask me about my stuff? Don't you want to know about music in general, music business? All right, okay. But it's okay. Fair question. I said you can ask anything you like. I don't always have an answer, but you can ask anything. Okay, what inspired me to write "We Didn't Start the Fire"? It was 1989. I was in the studio, and Sean Lennon comes by, and a friend of his comes to the studio. Now, my producer at the time was Mick Jones. Mick Jones was just there. And it started out as a country song. Now, you all know growing up on Long Island what big country fans we are. Yeah. Now actually you can get country music in Long Island. When I was a kid, what country music? I thought country music. Well, I went into town the other night, see if I could start a fight. I felt so mean and I was going nuts. Oh, I felt so down on me to see there was some music coming to me. I went and stuck my pitchfork in his nuts.
Play the whole thing!
No, country music, that's that hillbilly stuff. But I lived in Los Angeles for a couple of years during a time when the LA music scene was fairly interesting. Before I realized how full of crap everybody was. And, it's an easy cheap trick in New York. We can rank out California. There's some interesting things out there. Is everybody getting chapped lips this month? Your lips are just falling off. Jeez. Sean Lennon comes by and he's with a friend who just turned 21. So the guy goes, and he looked depressed. This was his birthday. So Sean takes him to see a Billy Joel recording session on his birthday. And the guy's like completely bummed out. So I'm thinking, sorry, maybe you should have gone out and party or something. Not exactly entertaining or recording with him. So I asked the guy, so what's the matter? He goes, well, I'm 21, it's like, there's the Cold War, and there's AIDS, and there's all these terrible things going on, and hypodermics are washing up on the shore, and there's pollution, and there's these terrible things. Like, yeah, I know, when I was 21, there was the same kind of feeling of coming into this terrible world that had been set up for us. There was the Vietnam War, Nixon was the president, and drugs, and there's all these scary things were going on. I said, yeah, well, I remember being 21, I felt like that too. It was almost overwhelming coming into maturity. And he said, yeah, but at least when you were a little kid, you lived in the 50s. And everybody knows, like, nothing happened in the 50s. So I said, did you ever hear, like, the Korean War? And he looked at me like, what's that? So I started to write things from when I was born, and I realized, wow, this whole, Harry Truman was the president. Harry Truman, President Doris Day, she was a recording star. Red China, when China went communist. Johnny Ray was this guy who used to cry. Cry. South Pacific was the big musical. The big reporter at the time, Walter Mitchell. Big athlete, Joe DiMaggio. Okay, so let me show you how the song started out. So the chord progression goes. This is also an example of what happens when I write the lyrics first. Because here's the melody to We Didn't Start the Fire. But the chord started out, I was trying to write this country song. And then I like this name, Jolene. Jolene, won't you take me as I am? Jolene, I'm an ordinary man. Jolene, like Dylan during his Nashville stage. Won't you take me as I am? part spin. So then I came up with this thing, Harry Truman knows David, John, won't you take me as I am? What's the next person? Joe DiMaggio. Joe McCarthy, Richard Nixon, Stony, Baker, television, on Koreans, and the region. So I'm thinking, so I'm just writing this down like a laundry list of things that happen year by year. And I'm going year by year, every verse is a year. And then I got to get to a chorus. What do I do? What do I say? So Jolene. Yes, that's how I am. I said, well, that won't work. So I have to come up with a phrase, and this is like this maelstrom, this firestorm of events and names, and I said, fire. Something about the fire. And I think originally it was like waltzing through the fire. Waltzing won't work. Dancing through the fire. You didn't start the fire. Don't blame me. Oh, okay. Typical baby boomer response to everything. It's our parents' fault. They started. So that's where it came from. That's my story. And I'm sticking to it. At this point, I mean, Columbia Records is so desperate for me to put out something new for the pop world. They go, why don't you do like We Just Start the Fire Part 2? We Just Start the Fire 2000. Then I gotta write about the 90s? Gun drops, moves out. Kurt Cobain blows brains out. Bill Clinton, no, I don't know. Lewinsky, what's up on Arjinsky? Marilyn Monroe. She's always around. She never goes away. Okay, so anyway, let me take another question. This is what this is. Okay, so you get it? Okay, you got it? You got it. Okay, so I've been all the way to the back to the. If you want me to sign that thing, you can just pass it down to the guy with the big obnoxious poster. I will sign it. I swear. I don't. Okay, so I've been there now. I have not really been like right in the front. All right, okay. I'll get there. We got time. Don't worry. What? You all camped out for tickets? But were you here? I can't wait for the next person to use that mic. What do you got, man? You need Lysol. It's all right. Thank you, Billy. This is a great way to spend my 25th birthday. Is it 25th birthday? You gotta get out more. Anyway, I was wondering about what you think with the internet and the web in the past few years, information has been transferred a lot faster than it used to. And now music with MP3s and whatnot is going around the world, for free. And what do you think that means for the future of the recording industry, where we're going? When you can just download whole libraries? That's a good question. And the music business is trying to get into that technology itself to make it part of their business. Not on behalf of the artist, because they're always figuring out how to cheat the artist anyway. The record companies want to justify their phony quality existence one way or the other. I think it's a good thing. I think ultimately, anything that disseminates music is a good thing. Whether it be radio, whether it be the websites, whether it be the internet, even TV commercials. I'm watching TV commercials and I'm hearing like Rolling Stones songs. you know. What was that one he used? Stop me up! Some computer. Stop me up, nigga! Stop! And I used to think, they're a bunch of sellouts and sold out. But I'm going, man, this was a good song. Wish that commercial was just a little bit longer. Stop me up! So, what's going to happen is the music is going to have to figure out how to harness this. There's going to have to be some kind of legislation that protects copyrights, that protects recordings, because otherwise artists are just going to go, hey, well, we can't make a living. It's not like the guy that bought my house now, okay? What's up with that? Okay? Hey, well, I can't get residuals. Why should I do it in the first place? Okay? It's a very good question, and I don't know the answer to it, but I do know that ultimately it's going to be a good thing for musicians, because it will be a way for musicians maybe to go directly, maybe without record companies, directly to people who might be interested in hearing new music, music by interesting artists who might not have been signed by a company, who might not fit a radio demographic, who might not be pretty enough to make videos, who might not fit what the music business thinks the flavor of the month is at that particular point. Because in the 70s, the 60s, there was all this great music coming out, and it was just being played. It had nothing to do with being a hit or some programmer saying this is what you're going to play on the radio. It was some disc jockey in the middle of going, this is an interesting album cover. What's in the band? Spooky Tooth. Okay, we're going to play Cut 5 on side 2. Spooky Tooth. And you'd be with the guy. Yeah. And you go, this is cool, and you go out and you buy an album. You just heard it. It's pure serendipity. So I think ultimately it's going to be a good thing. Music business-wise, I don't know. What's going to happen to me with the recordings I've done? There's so many bootlegs flying around. Who's kidding? Who? I mean, the Grateful Dead actually were smart. They said, all right, we know you're going to bootleg. Go ahead, here. Have a good recording of it. Plug right into our board. They're going to get, there's bootlegs of me from like way back, and there's awful recordings. I wish I'd let them plug into the board. So, I make plenty of money. I'm fine. It's all right. If it wasn't for other people's lawyers, I would have stopped working a long time ago. Any law students here? I love you, kids. All right, let me take another question. Okay, I'm going to go right to the middle, right here. Let's have one right here, yes. Pass the mic. Is it the same mic? Because there was a little... Yeah, call.
With your song, Debbie's Her Lesson, what type of songs are you going for more of the ballad type song? Just because the interlude chorus type stuff, it almost sounded to me as though it was like some sort of sailor song where they're all standing on the port side, yo ho ho. I was just wondering what musical genre you would go for.
That's a very good question. I'm going to have to do that on this instrumentation. Which actually looks like a piano, but it's a synthesizer made for home, so people think you have a piano. 90% of that case is useless. It just looks like, wow, grand piano. But it's actually, the keyboard is only about this wide. It's called a Kurzweil, which to me is very funny. It's a composer named Kurt Weill who wrote Three Penny Opera. You know Kurt Weill? Who was that singer? Oh, the shark bites. Its teeth, yeah. He was doing Sinatra. And he shows them well and wiped out. But that was written by Kurt Weill. So I'm going to play that and I'll show you. I'll just. Okay, I'm going to look through. Now, this is a book that has all my lyrics in it. Right? We call it the Bible. Joel, all right? Everybody's always asking me, so what's your real name? I said, real name is Joel. Look in the Bible. Joel. Oh, this is a great stool. This is great. That's a drum stool, actually. Okay, so I gotta change the sound on this thing. How do I do that? I'm like very synthesizer illiterate. I gotta find a guitar sound. Acoustic guitar. You hear that? You might want to turn it up a little. A flamenco dancer is actually a guy applauding his own ass. Okay, so I'm trying to write a lyric for the commercial fishermen on the east end of Long Island, for the baymen. Now, down east is an area of Maine where there's a lot of boat building going on, and they build a lot of lobster boats. And the look of a lobster boat is typical of a workboat. You see a lobster boat, you immediately think lobster boat, clam boat, oyster boat, fishing boat. It's a workboat. It's a commercial workboat. Now, there are families that have been living out in the East End for 300 years who are now being put out of work. The fathers cannot pass down the tradition to the sons anymore. Now, this is a tradition that goes back to when the original European settlers came in the 1600s and they went fishing. And the Indians, the Native Americans, taught them how to fish, how to use the net to pull in the bass. So I knew it had to be kind of a folk song. I was looking for a folk song, not so much a ballad, but a folk song. Now I started writing the song, I didn't have lyrics. I called it the hippie song. It was like, well, I'm standing outside in the garden, and I don't know what I'm going to write. And I sure don't have lyrics tonight. So I had this song, and I said this would make a good folk song. What's happening with these guys on the East End. I said, I gotta write a song about what's going on here. The whole juxtaposition of the wealth that was in the Hamptons. There's all these rich people with these huge houses. I'm one of them, you know? And Jerry is now, you know? And then you've got these people who have been there for 300 years struggling, and their hands are made out of flint and steel, and they can't make a living, and they're scratching to get by. The juxtaposition of it was unbelievable. The dichotomy. Just, floored me. Doesn't anybody know about these people? These are, like, the original Long Islanders, Well, actually, they weren't. I mean, the Native Americans were the original Long Islanders. We taught them how to fish, and then once they learned how to fish, they just kicked the original Long Islanders out. But they've been here for a long time, and it's a hard life, and they don't ask for a handout. They just want to be able to make a living. So I wrote this song, and I said, okay, there's a boat, there's a Downeaster. I'm seeing a Downeaster. Well, I'm on the Downeaster. My daughter's name? Alexa. And I'm cruising through Block Island Sound. I had charted across to the vineyard, but tonight I'm Nantucket bound. We took on diesel back in Montauk yesterday. Met this morning from the Bell and Gardner's Bay. Like all the locals here, I've had to sell my home. Too proud to leave, I work my fingers to the bone so I could own my Downeaster. Now, originally, Liberty is trying to figure out what to play, so he starts playing this calypso beat. So it sounds like a Harry Belafonte song. When I'm on the Downeaster. I said, that ain't it now. He's playing on 2 and 4. Because rock and roll guys, we come from R&B and soul music. It was always on the backbeat. Well, I'm down in the Caribbean, I'm having a great time. I said, that's not the vibe I'm looking for. So we said, turn it around and put the accent on 1 and 4, which is Celtic. Boom! Because St. Pat's is coming right up this week. A lot of these big drums, these guys. They actually think this is funky, right? Boom! Blah! Boom! Blah! And you go, yeah, there's a thing here, there's a thing, okay? So we put the accent on the first and the third beat. Which almost gives it like a wave action, like a boat going through the waves. And Liberty is having a difficult time getting it because he's a rock and roll guy and he was supposed to. But and it gives it this like. Have you ever seen a documentary about the Aran Islands? Heard about the Aran Islands? The Aran Islands. Well, they play this music and it's Celtic music, it's Irish music, and the beat goes boom, bam, boom, bam. All of a sudden, it became tribal. Which I was, every time I see people clapping their hands, like white people clap on 1 and 3. When it was going at a right named Dick. African American music is all. And that's where the funk comes from. It's not 1 and 3, but because it was a folk song and it was given a tribal Celtic treatment. And then once Lib got it, and Liberty DeVito, like there's a real Irish name for you, he became Liberty DeVito. Liberty DeVito. He wore a green shirt. And so basically it's a folk song done with a Celtic drum. We kicked up the bass drum really, really loud to accent that. And I like that song. I hear that come on the radio and I go, I do that. What's that song about the Downeaster? Alexis. Yeah? My daughter really loves that. Yeah? Are you Alexis from the song? Now, I was just over here, so to get fair, no, it's really not fair. I think I'm going to go over. I'm in the back, yeah, the furthest person back, all the way, yeah, that person, all the way back there, the sympathy seat. Is there a microphone out there? You can't even get a mic back there, so. Okay. And then you get the disease smell. Is it on? I'm sorry.
Was there a woman behind She's Always Wanted to Me?
Yes. Okay, we'll take another question. I don't kiss and tell, folks. You're not going to get the dish out of me. Yes, there was. There was a woman. Actually, because you waited so long and asked the question, I'll tell you the original title to that song. I was living in Manhattan at the time on the east side. I was on the 35th floor of this building called the Landmark. You see it as soon as you come in over the 59th Street Bridge. This really ugly, modern architecture kind of building with it's all glass and it's a nasty looking thing. But if you're up on the 35th floor, you're like, hey, are we cool here or what, you know? And so I'm sitting there and I'm just looking out the window and that's in E flat. She can kill with a smile, she can wound with her eyes, she can ruin your faith with her casual lies, and she only reveals what she wants you to see. She hides like a child, but she's always a woman to me. And then I got her stabbing and cutting and slashing and slicing and dicing, you know, O'Peel's thing, you know. What's wrong with this relationship? But it started off, and I'm sitting and seeing the view from the 35th floor. That was okay, the original title. You asked, was there a woman behind it eventually? But first it started out as the view from the 35th floor. Oh, I don't know what to say. City all day. Yes, there was a woman, but eventually the song's back. So, let me take another question. So much for the really sympathy scenes. Those are tough. I'm going to go right down to the middle area now. Okay, there's a rooting section for somebody right here. Okay. Yes, that's a good cheap trick. Having other people pointing at you is very effective. I'm actually going to finish a complete song before the night is over. But then we're going to pass the hat for some extra money, right?
Hi, I just wanted to ask you what you listen to now. Do you listen to any new music or anything like that?
you know, sometimes what's old is new. It depends on your perspective. Do I listen to new music? Yes. Oh, that'll be a good shot. A chin's gonna be like this. The Orson Welles shot.
Citizen Kane.
I listen to the radio, and if I like something, I stop. I don't always know what band it is. I don't always know the name of the band. And I mean, this is how out of it I am. I thought the guy said, hey now, you're a rock star, you're a big shot, you're a blah, 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 blah. Hey now, you're a blah, blah. No, they're never going to keep you down. I get messed up. I said, oh, they finally had another record out, you know? No, it was a different band, so that's what I know. I don't know anything. I listen to everything. I listen to Latin music. I listen to rock and roll. I listen to even classic rock. Yes. I listen to my contemporaries. You know, ooh, is that where I come from? Jazz. I love jazz. Where do you hear jazz anymore? Really? Where are they at? They're not a New York City station, right? They're a New York City. Is a jazz station New York City? Light jazz? What is that? Does that mean like jazz without sex organs or something? What is light jazz? Like light beer? Is that what's the point? I love jazz. I listen to jazz. Hey, if I can find jazz, but you gotta remember, Jerry just got my house. I've been living on the East End. We had about 4 stations. And before cable came along, everybody was rooting for the Red Sox. I'll get over it. Yeah, because you got, what did you get out of it? You got like New Haven TV, and it was all fuzzy. There's the Red Sox. Oh, I might as well watch the Red Sox game on. No, that was it. But I listen to everything, but the music I listen to mostly, what you would call old music, is classical music. I listen to classical music. I rediscovered how much I liked that music and how good these guys were. Now, just recently I was down in Washington, D.C. at the Smithsonian 300th birthday celebration of the birth of the piano. And they had the first piano built. It's this little honker. That this Italian guy, Bartolomeo Cristofori, built it. It's this cute little ugly, nasty thing. And it's kind of sad. You can barely hear it, but it's the first piano. And I was amazed. You got to go to the Smithsonian and check out the piano. They had Irving Berlin's piano that he transposed on. He could only write in D flat. He's a sick person. It's all black keys, you know? Because they're sticking up more than the white ones. That's where they are. Right there. They had the piano that Liszt played, when he did his famous concert. And the women swooned and they went crazy over the guy. And they had the piano that Beethoven wrote. They had these amazing pianos. And I realized that how good these guys were to write the incredible stuff that they wrote on these primitive instruments. So I listen to classical music all the time. I love classical music. It's like I rediscovered, it was my first love. When I was a little boy, the first music I heard was, my father played the piano, and he would play Chopin, he would play Schumann, and Liszt, and he would always walk out of the room in a bad mood. He was German. My father was from Nuremberg, Germany. And he wanted to be a great pianist, but he wasn't good enough, so he'd walk out of the room, and I would hear this great music coming out of the room, and he'd walk out of the room. Bad mood, that's not with him. And I rediscovered how much I love that music. As a matter of fact, I want to play, I'm not going to play something. I've been writing classical music for the last 7 or 8 years now. Actually, I've been writing classical music for a long time. Only I've been putting it in rock and roll arrangements. I'll give you an example. So, this song's a big hit, okay? But see you right now.
stuff and listen to. And that's what I listen to most of. I'm going to program music. So I'm going to have a guy come out and play something that I've written, and I'll explain later why I'm not playing it, because this guy is actually a virtuoso pianist. He's trained to play classical music, and he studies and he works at it. And I kind of went into rock and roll, so I don't want to work that hard, you know. Now I'm kind of glad that I did study that hard. But let me introduce someone who will play one of the pieces I'm working on, so you see what I'm listening to and what I've been into lately. This is a friend of my brother's who was a conductor in Vienna. I have a brother named Alexander Joel. That's his real name, Alex Joel. Half brother. But really a great guy. This is one of his friends, and I met him through my brother. And he's going to play a piece for you that I wrote. This is Mr. Yankee Chu. Should we start short, like kind of ease them in, or you want to play a long one first, or what do you think?
Should we start with fantasy?
Start with fantasy? Oh, that's like jumping right into the deep end. Cool. Okay, this is a piece that I wrote 2 or 3 years ago. It's called Fantasy, and it's subtitled Film Noir. Now, those of you who are students of film know film noir is these black and white movies that they made in the 40s and 50s, usually like grade B actors, you know, Brian Donlevy, John Ireland, Veronica Lake, and she wore a flaming pistol or something. They show these movies on $1 Million Movie like at 3 o'clock in the morning. And you go, wow, who are these people? They can't act. Some great actors came, like Richard Widmark starred in that genre. And there was some really interesting things going on in this whole subgenre. So I started writing this piece, and it reminded me of that kind of music, of those kinds of films. So if you take it from, and then in the middle of it, it goes into this totally romantic era thing. I really don't need to explain it that much. It'll speak for itself. Anyway, this is Fantasy. And then I bring it to him and I go, I want the left hand to do this and I want the melody to do that and then I want to change and I want this thing and dynamics and obviously he goes, okay, fine. And he does it. And I go, it's pretty good. I'm better than I thought. But essentially, like, I have kind of rediscovered, like, it's like the girl next door. She was always there. And I, you know, always had a thing for her. And then when I was like 13 or 14, I got seduced by this rock and roll woman. Rock and roll is this seductress in torn fishnet stockings, you know, kind of dragged me off into this world where Pinocchio, you know, okay. And I spent a long time there, and I said, okay, it's great, I love it, I love rock and roll, but I listen to this, the classical music now, and I listen to Beethoven, and just, I get completely mesmerized by it. I get just going to this daze from, and it just amazed me, it mesmerized me, it enchants me. And that's a really long answer to a really short question. So let me ask you another question. Okay, so you were here, right here? Okay, fine. Let's go ahead. Okay.
What's the story behind Angry Young Man?
What's the story?
Like, who's it about or something?
Oh, you want the dirt?
Yeah.
Okay, Angry Young Man. I don't know how many people here remember there was an instrumental piece back early 60s, I think it was called Wipeout. And the drums go. Well, like everybody in the school is walking. If you could play Wipeout, you were cool on your desk, right, with your pencil. Drive the teacher crazy. Teacher, what's that? So if you take that pattern and do it with 2 fingers on middle C, you get this. Which is close to that eyewitness news thing. Which is actually taken from the movie Cool Hand Luke. It's the movie that was Cool Hand Luke. So let me take that bugga thing, because the piano is thought of as a string instrument, but the piano is a percussion instrument. You bang a piano, you strike a piano, you hit a piano, you whack on a piano. And he goes, this is back in the 70s when they would still play like weird instrumental music. my sound man for a while. And he was a very good friend to me. And I took him on the road and said, okay, I want to hire you to be my sound man. You know, I think you got good ears and you be a sound man. Well, this guy had no what they call people skills. He managed to alienate everyone he worked with. Everyone was like, I hate that guy. He's a friend of mine. He's my sound man. I hate that guy. Everybody who worked with him, the truck drivers hated him, the bus drivers, they like everybody. You know, nobody could work with this guy. So eventually, I mean, it was causing so much dissension. And he really wasn't doing a good job with the sound, as it turned out. I thought he was a good sound guy, but then I heard it one night. I actually walked out and I heard it. This is terrible. And so I had to let the guy go. So he said, you're just like everybody else. You're washing your hands. You're like Pontius Pilate. So I said, well, if I'm Pontius Pilate, that means you think you're Jesus Christ. So, and I realized he's just one of these guys who's just this constantly angry person, and he's got to find something to be mad about all the time, and he's taking out on everybody else. And he's just mad, he's angry. People think there's things about me. I'm never that mad. I don't get pissed off once in a while, but this guy was just like professional angry man. So it was written kind of in a, almost like a Gilbert and Sullivan. So you know Gilbert and Sullivan? I am a very It's really clever stuff, actually. My mother was in that stuff. That's how she met my dad, actually. There's a place in the world with the angry young man, with his ragged glass ties and his ragged compliance. He refuses to bend, he refuses to crawl. He's always at home with his back to the wall. He's proud of his scars and the battles he's lost. He struggles and bleeds as he hangs on his cross, and he likes to be known as the angry young man. At the roots of this song, there's a place in the world with the angry young man, something that you put the ball in the it's like a Gilbert and Sullivan kind of song. So, that's it. Part of my roots, I remember hearing this Gilbert and Sullivan stuff when I was a kid going, that's really good, that's really funny, you know. When you realize when it was written, it was all a spoof on opera, and it was a spoof on British society, and they were just taking the air out of everything, these guys. There's a movie out about it now, right? Topsy-Turvy? You get a chance, you should go see this. Really give you an insight to how like whacked out they were back in the last century. Well, the century before the last century. Okay, so let me take it. I will actually finish a song. I promise. There will be a song. No, that's not fair. No. I just said. But I will return. I'll just feel better just getting around the room more. Where have I been for a while? Okay, it's a fellow right here, gray sweater. Yeah. You need mine.
I just have one quick question. One quick question and then a slightly longer question. The first question is...
Come on, pick one.
Alright, I'll pick the shorter one.
It could be shorter or longer, just the better one.
When it's cold, do you wear socks when you sleep?
That's fine. I want to hear the other question. Where did the shoe drop? And part two would be...
The other one I was just curious, where it's falling in love or having a heart broken?
Do you want to wear socks when I sleep? No. No, I don't even wear socks when I'm awake. I walk around in the middle of the winter. I'm a polar bear. I like cold. I like it cold. So I wear shoes with no socks, and I'm walking down Main Street. It's freezing out. People go, "You have your socks on." Yeah, so none of your business. What? I have socks on now. I won't do a thing. No, but it's socks. You know, it's for sissies, socks. So, no, I like it cold when I sleep. And, do I wear socks when I sleep? No, I don't think. Only when I fell asleep when I didn't mean to. Probably wear socks. But what's better for writing songs? Heartbreak or new love? Okay. Man, they're both really good. They're both very, very good. Falling in love for lyrics or music? What was the question? Lyrics or music? Either. Ooh. See, lyrics, I'm kind of not writing lyrics. I'm not kind of not writing lyrics. I'm not writing lyrics. I've broken free from the tyranny of the lyric. Yes. I don't write lyrics, much anymore. Just doing that music thing now. Let the music speak. I always write the music first, usually, except for. Was it about heartbreak or new love? Both are really, really good. Falling in love is a very, very strong emotion to write about, and difficult to write because a new idea about love. It's very difficult to write a good love song. There's a lot of bad love songs, but you know, a good love song. That's a tough one. And having your heart broken. And the good ones are like, you're still in love, but your heart is broken. That's a good one. Sinatra made a whole career out of that. What's my favorite love song? I think my favorite? My favorite love song. My favorite love song.
That This is why my eyes are closed. It's just as well for what I've seen. And so it goes, and so it goes. And you're the only one who knows. And I would choose to be with you. As if the choice were mine today. But you can make decisions too. And you can have this heart to break. And so it goes, so it goes, and you're the only one who knows. That's very well sort of Cairo. That's like kind of like being in love and knowing you're going to get your heart broken in that middle thing. You know, like, okay, here, get ahead. That's up. Go ahead. That's when you know you're really in love, when you're able to get trampled and smushed and crushed to pieces. So, they're not all that far apart, are they? Think about it. Falling in love and having your heart broken. Actually, really falling in love means you're allowing your heart to be broken. So, it's not really a career. In the wee small hours of the morning, when the whole wide world is fast asleep, ring a ding ding. And he carried his works for Amy Gardner for years and years and years and years. And got a lot of mileage out of it. Anyway, let me take your question. So, we're here, we're in the middle. Can I just read this? Oh, okay. And you're right, it's not good. Would you mind if I speak, since I don't think to be rude, the woman who's madly in love with you, she's dying for my seat, it's only fair. Yeah, go ahead. What do you need me for? She's gonna fine. Okay. That'll be $8.50. Come on, this is college. Let's get some questions. Let's get some questions. Come on. Settle down. Okay, let's go over here. Okay, this person right at the end. Okay, with the red. Well, no, you're red. She was red. All right, you can be next. Okay.
Hi. I just wanted to clarify something. One of my friends told me that everyone who sends you like a letter or something gets a response because I guess when you were younger you wrote to Paul McCartney or something and you didn't write back or something. But my friends were known to make things up. Because then I go around and tell other people this, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm like, yeah, because I wrote to you, I wrote a letter to you and I got something back, and I said, yeah, because when he was younger or something, wrote to Paul McCartney. I don't know, I just wrote it to you.
Okay. Truthfully, I get so much mail, it's impossible for me to answer all of it. I try to answer the stuff that I can relate to and stuff that I can, that I feel needs a response, but there's a lot of redundant mail, or I get asked the same questions over and over again. I finally go, I didn't think about that. I wrote a letter to the Beatles. It wasn't just to Paul McCartney, it was to the Beatles. I was such a Beatle maniac. You understand, Kennedy had been assassinated November of 1963. The country had the blues, in a deep, deep depression. End of November. John F. Kennedy, young, progressive, represented the future. And he was stuck in everything that moved, too. But he was like the young guy. He represented progress. He was like our guy. Bang! Blew his brains out. Right? So who do we get for the president?
We get Lyndon Johnson. My fellow Americans, I'll speak to you with a heavy heart.
And these big earlobes. So everybody became very, very cynical about government, about everything. We just stopped believing in the whole system. It was they took our guy away. We had the same old carcasses going up there. And this is the end of November 1963. So in February 1964, who comes along? Oh yeah, tell you something, I think you'll understand. When I say that song, I wanna hold your hand. I know what you're gonna hold. I wanna hold your, that's what they're playing on the radio. I wanna hold your hand. So these four English guys, they had hair like a girl, and they were writing their own songs and playing their own instruments, and they just blew us away. They said, wow, we love these guys. And they kind of replaced Kennedy for a generation. They were our guys. We took the Beatles and we just crushed them to us. And so I wrote them this letter, tell me how do you write this and how do you get a new music contract and how did you come up with your sound? And I got this pamphlet back that said, you too can purchase a Beatle doll or a Beatle lipstick. That's really not what I want. It's just like a merchandise book. You can buy a Beatle doll, you can buy a Beatle lipstick, you can buy a Beatle pocketbook. I don't really want lipstick or a pocketbook. What are they trying to tell me here? And I was kind of crushed by this. I said, they didn't write me back personally. John and Paul, love John, Paul, George, and Ringo, and I'm trying to smear the writing on. So I said to myself, I said, if I ever get in a situation like that, I want to be able to tell people how this stuff really works, which is why I'm actually doing this, to try to help people who actually might have an interest in going into music. To encourage them, because we need good music, we need good musicians, we need people who are committed, we need people who believe in what they're doing, we need people who want to be good in what they're doing. And the Beatles, they wanted to be Buddy Holly and the Crickets, which is why they call themselves the Beatles. They loved American music, and we weren't hearing a lot of American music. In England, they played music by black artists. They wouldn't play it in America. They tried to shut down. The beginning of rock and roll was Little Richard, Fats Domino, Chuck Berry, all this stuff. They used to call it race music. It was black music. And they thought we were all going to start screwing like bunnies, This is bad music, this is like jazz. They're going to smoke pot, they're going to screw, they're going to shut it down. So, Little Richard, when you listen to Little Richard doing Tutti Frutti, he played the piano standing up. I don't know how he did it. He must have been really
race music, it's called race music. We're going to have white artists do rock and roll. So who do they have to Tutti Frutti? Pat Boone. You ever hear the Pat Boone version of Tutti Frutti? Tutti Frutti, oh Tutti Frutti, oh Tutti. There's no hip movement at all. Tutti Frutti, oh, no pelvis. I got a girl named Maisie. You know, she drives me crazy. Hated that crap, you know? Awful. There you go. Then along come the Beatles, and they're doing, shake it up, baby, now, shake it up, like the Isley Brothers. And, you know, we hadn't really heard a lot of this stuff here. This is really good. You mean that's an American group that did that? How come we didn't hear that? How come these guys heard it? So they were basically giving us our own music back, and we fell in love with their own stuff. So the Beatles, you know, big influence for me. That's why I wrote the letter. That's why I'm doing this. They didn't tell me how to do this. I made a lot of mistakes, and really, I'd like you to avoid the mistakes I made. Which means if you're going to go in the music business, get a lawyer. When you start making money, get another lawyer to watch the first one. And once in a while, just look at the books. Just look at the books once in a while. I know it's boring, it's numbers, and your mind will get glazed over, numbers. Just check the books once in a while. Managers, So, anyway, that was. So the other guy who I thought I called on him, and now ask the question.
Ted, I had a question. Putting you on the spot pretty much, what would you say is your one greatest musical contribution?
Greatest musical contribution? You want me to actually have that kind of perspective? My greatest musical contribution? I don't know. I've already thought about it. I don't think I've done it yet. I don't know the answer to that. I really don't. I can't step outside of myself. You want me to do piano? Do you really think that's my greatest musical contribution? I will do that song. I will do it. Well, that wasn't bad. So I walk into a restaurant or someplace that's got a piano bar player, and I'm the patron saint of piano guys, right? So they see me, they go, and I give away, and I go, oh no, here it comes. comes, here comes. And they start playing Piano Man. Now, I know they really haven't played it a lot. They do this kind of jazzed up Las Vegas version of Piano Man. Starts to dawn on him. And then he looks over at me and I go, I never told you to do this. So it's the same thing over and over again, except that little. Is really more like a limerick. The lyric is, John Cabar is a friend of mine. He gets some drinks for free. He's good with the joke of why they be smoking this up, at least he's good with the beat. What's his girlfriend can't tell you. But people like this sort of rhetoric. I go to Scotland. Right, I'm in Glasgow. I'm just sitting in this place and I'm like, give us a song, will ya? Give us a There's an old man sitting next to me, hanging out to his tonic and gin. He says, son, can you play me a memory? I'm not really sure how it goes, but it sounded sweet and I knew it complete. When I wore a younger man's clothes, la la diddy da, la diddy da, Now Paul is a real estate novelist who never had time for a wife, and he's talking with Davy, who's still in the Navy and probably will be by life. Say, man, what are you doing? piano. And it's a waltz tune. Now, I mean, when's the last time there was a hit that was a waltz?
What's new, pussycat? Whoa, whoa, whoa! What's new, pussycat? Whoa, whoa!
You gotta stuff socks down your pants.
Whoa! Pussycat, pussycat, got fun.
It's a waltz. You know, who dances waltzes anymore? Actually, it's a very romantic dance. And speaking of the waltz, this gives me the opportunity to do something shorter that I wrote. A waltz. This is another waltz that I wrote. Want to do a waltz? Which one? I choose. No. I'll flip your coin. Which one? I have two waltzes. Which one's shorter? Okay, this is now. Anybody ever go to not here. This is down in Baldwin, I think. It was called Nunley's Happy Land. And there was a carousel. We used to go. We thought this was like, Disneyland. They had this rinky-dink carousel and a boat ride with this dirty water, And there was a clown that went, woo, we went, wow, this is great, Mom and Dad brought us to Nunley's Happy Land. Anyway, so they are restoring the carousel from Nunley's Happy Land. And I started writing this waltz when I was in Russia back in the 80s. And because things in Russia... This is like Philadelphia Freedom. Lopsided and doesn't work properly. Anyway, this is a waltz I wrote a few years ago. It's waltz number 1, subtitled Nunley's Carousel.
Are there any music students here? Someone fill my pages?
Someone who can read music? Can we get someone to read it? I need a reader. Okay. Can you read? Can you read music? Okay. You got a reader? Oh, we got someone there. There's no prize. Oh, we just need someone to turn the pages because we're running the company. kind of, is that a greenish? Yeah, seafoam. Faded khaki areas.
Thank you. You've got a bit of a different perspective on the world than most of us, at least before you were homeless. What would you say was your biggest thrill? Having been in Yankee Stadium, having 65,000 people singing down and back to you, what would you say that would be for you?
The biggest thrill in my life?
Yeah.
Birth of my daughter. Everything else pales in comparison to seeing this new life. She plays the piano now, and she's pretty good. She's getting better than I was. She's more consistent with her practicing. When I'm recording with her, no. She's left-handed, which for a piano player is great, because all the melody stuff happens with the right hand. So your ear can kind of pick out the melody stuff, and most of us are right-handed, but left-handers. They can pick out the accompaniment, which is really hard to get, and messes up a lot of people who try to take piano lessons. The left hand will stop anybody cold. She got through it because she was left-handed, so she has this great voice. She's this little petite thing, and she's got Ethel Merman kind of like, and she sings, and she just walks around the house, and she's like, I used to call her boombox. I always knew where she was because she'd be singing all the time. But that's, come on, anybody. That's got to be the biggest thrill for anyone is having a child. So, everything else is kind of pale in comparison to that. Let me take another question. So I got some music stuff. The music business and the, and composition or recording or road stuff, Okay, over here, there's somebody leaning towards somebody over here. Okay, yeah. So what are you leaning to? Right. Yeah. All right, red. Red jumps. The seats are red. Yeah.
Hi, I just basically wanted to let you know that you're truly God's gift to music.
Thank you.
And I went to 2 of your concerts last year in hopes of hearing Uptown Girl.
Right.
And basically what I want to know is if you still do sing it, or is it too much of a personal issue that you don't sing Uptown Girl anymore?
Thank you. That's kind of a dishy question. No, I just, to sing Uptown Girl, see, that was kind of, I did an album called Innocent Man, and it's kind of my tribute to the music that I grew up with, which is like soul and R&B and doo-wop and Motown and all the music I loved just prior to the Beatles that came out. I loved these oldies. And Uptown Girl ended up, it started out, this was after I got divorced from X1. I was dating a couple of different people, and the song started out, I was living in New York City, Uptown Girls, which wasn't going to sit well, when I finally ended up with the girl. So, but it started as, and I'm trying to say, I realized on the album, so you know what I don't have on this album? I don't have an homage to Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. Big girls don't cry, Sherry baby. Frankie Valli sang like, somebody had their hand, right? Sherry baby, oh what a night, late September. This guy was like way up here all the time. How does this guy do this every night? And Sting does it. Roxanne, you know how to put last night. It's yoga, whatever it is he does. I don't know. Yoga, something. These guys are singing really, really nice. So Frankie Valli sang that. So I wanted to do like a tribute to the Four Seasons. Now they had a song called Rag Doll,
Well, my melody was different anyway. So she's the girl, she's the poor girl from the wrong side of the tracks. He's like the rich guy. When she was just a kid, her clothes were hand-me-down.
Hand-me-down.
They always laughed at her when she came into town, called her So I wrote this song, Uptown Girl, she a living. So I flipped it like I'm the downtown guy from the wrong side of the tracks, and she's the rich girl. She a living. But to sing it right like Frankie Collins, you gotta be at the edge of the top of it. And when she's walking, she's living. So every night I get this song, I say, oh man, this song is killing me. Every time I would do that song, I have a sore throat for the rest of the night on. So I took it out of the repertoire, not because of anything between me and X2, but because it was, well, all right, it's a little bit bad, okay? It's not only a pain in the ass to sing, it's about X2. Oh, okay. But we get over that, and we put it back, actually, we did it New Year's Eve. And the audience went, oh, we should have been doing this for a while. It's a big hit. But it really wasn't because of the personal thing. It had nothing to do, it just had to do with it's so hard to sing right. Now, Elton did it. Well, I toured with Elton, right? So I toured with Elton, and I got to do one of his songs. So I did.
Should have stayed on a farm, I should have listened to my old mind. You know you can't hold me forever, I didn't sign up with you. I'm not a present for your friends to open, this boy's too young to be singing the blues. Not so patient about things anymore. So he doesn't see. Uptown girl, she been living in her uptown world. She getting tired of her last time. I don't know better from her. So we're backstage listening to it. This really kind of sucks this year. But that was the key he wanted to do. What am I going to do? I'm going to say, you can't do it. You can try to tell Elton you can't do something. So that was another reason we said, I have to do it in the original key, and it's killing my voice, so another long answer to a short question. So let me get another question. Let me get that. Okay, this fellow right now in the front, right here. Yeah. Oh, wait for the mic. Here comes the mic.
Did you ever feel there was a time when show business and everything was too much for you, and you always wanted to back out, like I say with paparazzi and Princess Diana, when it came to be a downfall, unfortunate accident. My question pretty much is, have you ever felt was there a point in time when you just wanted to just give it up because you just thought it was too much?
Okay, that's a good question. Show business, celebrity. See, I didn't get into doing this to be famous. Okay, I got up on the stage and played music because I loved music. I wanted to meet girls. Okay. I was never going to meet girls because of how I looked. I never had a great car. I didn't have cool clothes. My hair wasn't that good. But I would play music and I would meet girls. So this is my way of communicating with the opposite sex. So music was a great way to meet people. And I loved music ever since I was a little kid. I wanted to make a living as a musician. And I have to tell you, I've won Grammys, I've got platinum records, I've got Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, tchotchkes, I've got Songwriter Hall of Fame, I got tchotchkes you wouldn't believe. Some of the nastiest looking tchotchkes. The Elvis Award, the Edison Award, Leap Year Flaming Piano Player Award, Sideman Award, and it just means you're not getting paid enough. Here's for not getting all the money you should have gotten. You guys go, thank you so much. And the celebrity aspect of it is bizarre. It's the weirdest job. It's the best job I've ever had, but it's the weirdest job I've ever had. So it's like, so I'm living in the Hamptons, right? So I call up and I go, can I get a table tonight? No way. But we'll take down your name. We don't have an available table till 11:30 tonight. Okay. But we'll take your name. What's your name? Billy Joel. Oh, Billy Joel. We just happen to have a table. So I'm thinking, what's the difference? Anybody can call up and go, I'm Billy Joel. How do you know I'm Billy Joel? How do you know I'm lying to you? Oh, Billy Joel. No, it's me, Billy Joel. Something just opened up. So that's the upside. You get a table. The downside of it is you sit down and eat, and you start to put the fork into your mouth. Never mind, come on! I think you went out of the Jericho. Will you sign this? In between the fork and the mouth, there's a piece of paper. And it gets pretty weird. So I actually kind of wanted to unstar 10 years ago. But then my good old manager ripped my butt off. And I stayed on the road for like years just to try to make back. Is that a bug or is that a hair? His hair's going, I can tell you. So I stayed on the road much longer than I wanted to. Once I had a kid, I never wanted to go on the road again. I didn't want to, not that I don't want to perform, it's just you're in hotels and you feel like Willie Loman, Death of a Salesman. You're laying in the room and you're going, it's that same kind of cottage cheese scene. I just want to go home. I want to go home. So what do? I take myself off the road so I can be home. And what do? I sell my home. What's the matter with me? But yes, there are times I just want to stop the world. I want to get off. This is ridiculous. And then you read stories about yourself in the tabloids, which are hysterical. And he was on the QE2 and threw a hissy fit and threw a cake at the chef. Oh, that's nice. Here I am, just hanging out at home, reading about me going all gallivanting. There he is in London with Julie Andrews, and in Japan with Seijiro Ozawa, having a fight. Him and Elton are having a huge argument and whatever, and having an affair with this one. I'm just like hanging out at home. And there are people who actually go around imitating you. There's a guy, nobody's really, until videos, nobody really knew what I really looked like. So there would be guys who were like kind of gnarly looking guys who would say they were Billy Joel. We'd go, oh, you're gnarly looking, yeah, you're Billy Joel. Charging up hotel bills, running around with limos, and impregnating women, right? And I would get a letter from like, we have your child here. You were in Kansas City and it was such and such a date. And I go, no, I wasn't. I was in woman says, "Oh, no, there was this Billy Joel guy. He had a limo and a bottle of champagne." Well, of course, that must be me. As a matter of fact, there's a guy there's a town in New Jersey called Deal, New Jersey, and there's a piano-shaped house. And everybody goes, "I know your house in New Jersey." Like, obviously, what other shape kind of house would I live in? This guy must hate my guts, because people always been like, "Hey, Billy Joel's out!" And I'm like, "Billy? No, he doesn't live here." Bang, and this stupid idiot buying a piano-shaped house. It's not me, it must be, it must have been Liberace. Remains of the Liberace family. Obviously, in Deal, New Jersey. So, but it's what? Well, I have to add the guitar for that. I don't have guitar for that. I really don't need another manager. I should probably do another song because I yank a lot. I'll do another song.
You're my host! Entertainer!
This is a fielder's choice. So energetic. I will get back to you, I promise. Yes, this fellow right here.
Billy, I had the opportunity to see you New Year's Eve at Madison Square Garden. Great show.
They're actually going to put out an album.
Of that show?
Of that show.
It's about time.
With all the bootlegs, I don't know why. Is it? The bootleg is on the website.
I feel like it's almost obligatory to ask you about the framing of scenes from an Italian restaurant, and maybe the restaurant that was kind of behind it after the song.
That's a two-parter. That was sneaky. Very good. Okay. Scenes from an Italian restaurant. Okay. There are all kinds of stories about which restaurant it was. I'm not going to say which restaurant it was because there's too many places that let me eat for free because they think it's First part of the job, when I had no money, everybody wanted my money. Now I have lots of money. Nobody wants my money. Except ex-wives too. Restaurant people, no, you don't pay here. You don't pay here. I said, well, then I come back here all the time. Oh, that's stupid. You don't, your money no good here. Right, I'm living here. I'm renting. How much you want for the place? Nothing. Your money's no good. And if I eat there often enough, people go, that's his Billy Joe Old-Time place. I own more restaurants. It's like George Washington slept here. Billy Joel ate here. And for a couple of years, I was eating pretty good. But Scenes from an Italian Restaurant was that was one of those, it was 3 different songs. It started out, like the middle part of the song, like the entree, the main chorus. It started as the main chorus, one of those Gilbert and Sullivan things. Like any young man, this is the world we live in. Young man was recognized as his own. But the remaining with the bucket stood and looking with the ball. Riding around with the cars all down in New York. Nobody looked at anyone. Or was more than in the parkway by, you know, we never knew we could want more than that of life. Sure, the Brenda and Eddie, but always know how to smile. You didn't leave? Anyway. So that was, so when I said, okay, so that's the, it was called originally The Ballad of Brenda and Eddie, because everybody in Hicksville seemed to be named Brenda or Eddie. Everybody I knew was like Brenda and Eddie, or Dominic and Teresa. Maria and Vinny. What do you want? You want Brenda and Eddie? You want Vinny and Teresa? Who do you want? Brenda and Eddie. So that worked. So then I said, nah, not enough. I need. Okay, we got the main course. Now we need like a salad in between. And we need like an appetizer. We need a starter. You know, like scenes from an Italian restaurant. You know. Yeah, some people write nervously. They know who they are. So it wasn't just like some tourist place. It was really. So I'm sitting there, and I think it was like Benito 2 or Angelo's on Mulberry, and I'm sitting there, and I got this idea. It's kind of Neapolitan, you know. And so I'm going to say, and the waiter comes over and he goes, hey, Mr. Joel, how are you today? What would you like? White? Red? Thank you. Bottle of white, bottle of red, perhaps a bottle of rosé instead. And rosé, don't ever try this stuff. It's horrendous. Everybody used to drink that instead of Matus and Lancers. Get a table in the street, so now I'm setting the scene. Okay, so we're getting our own familiar place. You and I, face to face. Bottle of red, ooh, bottle of whites. All depends upon your appetite. I mean, you
Missouri, they go, we got an Italian place. It's like the Olive Garden, you know? and they offer you like a salad that is either tangy or zesty. I don't like either of those words. I just want a salad. Well, we have the tangy salad, and we have the zesty. Would you like a pizza? We'll have a pie. No, we don't have pie here. We're a pizza hall. Well, I'll just have a plain pie. No pie. What kind of topping would you like? Topping? Why do I have to have topping? Why can't I just have a pizza pie? But you mean you just want pizza without any topping? Yeah. Is there a problem? You don't want the onions and the bagels and the this and the that. No, and then you get the plain pie and you realize why they put topping. You're just trying to hide this bubble gum on dough. So I get to the every time you want an Italian restaurant. So now I realize, so I've got the internet section, so I need time passing. You know, like they would do in the movies, the calendar pages would flip. Time continuum. 1972, 1973. Fall, winter, spring. And here we are, and where are we going to go? So I had this song I used to write. I used to live in Oyster Bay. And I had this little apartment in Oyster Bay. And I wrote this stupid song one day. Things are okay in Oyster Bay. Me and Bob, who was the sound man that I fired. Me and Bob and a meatball hero, fishing poles and onion rolls, playing on piano all day. There's a yell at the old doorbell. Brian is there with a bottle of Flashman's. Get in the mood for Chinese food. Beep-a-dabba-dibba-dabba-day. So I said, things are okay with me these days. Got a good job, got a good office, got a new wife, got a new life, and the family is fine. We lost touch long ago. We lost weight and did not know. You could never look so nice after so much time. Do you remember those days hanging out at the village green? The engineer boots, leather jackets, and tight blue jeans. Oh, you got me down at the box play a song about New Orleans. Like, wow, New Orleans, where the hell is that place? Cold beer, hot nights, my sweet romantic teenage. And a Dixieland, of course, once you say New Orleans. Clarinet, saxophone, trombone, Dixieland, just bear with me. So that's it. Comes out from time to time. No. There's a fellow. Oh, you're back. You go to the back. Okay, there's someone standing up here with two hands, jumping up and down. They got my attention. It works. Okay. Why did they put aisles? Big spacing between the rows. Right, so more bodies can pile up on each other in a big hurry to get away from the fire. Yes?
Yes, hello. Where do
development of myself. As an individual and as a musician. I really never thought about it. I'm open to all kinds of things. This is a terrific time of life. The new millennium. What was that bird song? I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. It's a Bob Dylan song. My back pages. The Birds had a hit with it. Sometimes it was hard to listen to Bob. It's the way Bob sang. I was so much older then, or younger than I used to be. Just because I'm open. I used to think I was closed. I used to think I knew everything. Everything was black and white. Everything's kind of gray right now, and maybe I'm not right about everything. So where I'm going as an individual, fate will take me. Well, no matter what plans I make, life will come along and whack me upside the head. And here's where you're going. You think you're going in? Well, Jerry brought you out. You're going. Because Jerry, I heard that Jerry was looking for a house. That was one thing. So I said, what can I? And he got aced out of 2 deals, and one guy was giving upping him the price, and upping Jerry finally said, walk away, something like that. And then he was in a deal with a couple, and they were getting divorced, and that deal fell through. So I'm a mutual friend, both of ours, Paul Reiser. I said, Paul, tell Jerry to come to the house. Tell him to come to my house. I'm banging around this big house for years out in Hamptons, The summertime, it's beautiful out there, but there's all these, fanny packers walking around summertime. There's another Joel! There's a Steven Spielberg! There's John Baldwin! So nobody goes anywhere, In the summertime, it's the nicest time of year. And then in the wintertime, it goes like this.
There's nothing going on. You cannot eat, you cannot shop, you cannot meet people. This is the Siberia of Nolan. So it gets a little, I'm never going to really fully leave. I have a daughter there, so I'm always going to, be around for her. But Jerry comes over and he looks at the house. There's no broker. He sits down and goes, okay. So how much you want? So I throw it wasn't the number in the New York Post, by the way. I should have started there, actually. It was lower than that. So I said, here's the number. Oh. So he goes, okay. Figuring he's going to knock my ass way down, And I said, okay. He goes, okay. I said, all right, let's go out and eat. So that's life, life just no matter what kind of plans you make, life will come along and shoot, you're going over here. As a musician, I hope to, what is this flying out? Is that just me? Is it springy like little June bugs or something? Or is it just somebody's got to dust this place once in a while? I hope to develop as a musical writer. I'm continuing to write classical pieces. I'm hoping to somehow make it into the 20th century soon because I'm writing 19th century style pieces. And here we are in the 21st century, and I want to bring myself more into the 20th century and deal with the modalities of my own time. But I'm learning. It's a learning process, and I hope to continue learning. I don't think you ever really stop learning, and I think that's what keeps you young and interested and innovative and productive. Is if you're open to learn things, you're open to new things, and you don't close yourself off. You just okay, let's see what's out there. All the possibilities. So that's where I'm going as an individual and a musician. This was like inside the actor's studio. Oh, we're talking about me. I want to talk about you. What do you want to know? What do you need?
my stuff. You have no idea how much you need to know. Don't ask me about me. Ask me about you. What do you need to know? You need to know I got it. Will I what? Will I marry you? Well, obviously that's more about you than about me. We gotta get to know each other first. So I was over here. Okay, this guy right here. He's a very earnest-looking young fellow here.
Thank you very much. I've always wanted the opportunity to thank you for writing yourself in New York State. My parents started me on piano lessons when I was 4 years old, and unfortunately for the next 12 years, they kept praying that one day I'd find some inspiration. And my music teacher, after moving from classical to jazz, he gave me this song, and it just hit something in me that I'd never felt before. I went home and sat on the piano for 8 hours straight, and had been really practicing jazz a lot, and I really loved it now. I wanted to know if there's anything behind that song. I live in Manhattan, I go to school there, I feel a real connection to it. Is there anything in that song that, the story behind it, and also I always chuckle when I hear the line, comes down to reality, and it's fine with me, because New Yorkers, especially in Manhattan, don't take anything for granted, and don't accept too much, they're stressed out.
Okay.
I lived in LA for 3 years before I wrote that song. Anyone spend any time in LA? I like going to LA, you just where is it? Where's LA? Okay, there's the downtown, there's Hollywood. Where's LA? There's no Manhattan in LA. I lived there for 3 years. I don't know why. I just did. And there was this famous headline. I remember when New York had the financial crisis, and Gerald Ford was the president, and New York was going to go into bankruptcy. And there was I think it was the Daily News, Ford to New York, drop dead. And then I'm in LA, and all these LA people are going, New York, we dropped it. And I said, what are you all happening? They're all going to come out here. And most of the people doing that were ex-New Yorkers anyway, New York's not a thing, It's going to drop dead. And I said, I'm going back. If there's going to drop dead, I'm going to be there when it's going to drop dead. I went back. So I didn't move back to New York City. I moved back to this place, Highland Falls. You ever been there? That's pretty. It's sort of like, the Hamptons in the wintertime, in the summer. I'm riding, I get to the airport, and I have to take a Greyhound bus. It's like right below West Point, really. And I'm on a Greyhound, I'm on the Hudson River line, I'm in the New York State line. This is a good idea. So I get to this rental house that my first ex-wife had found. And she goes, the piano's upstairs. I said, hi, Howard. Ran upstairs, and I wrote this song in half an hour. I love when that happens. And then I took care of business. And I think it came from my love of jazz, my love of the standards, my love of the classics, Cole Porter and Johnny Mercer and George M. Cohan, all these great, Stephen Foster. I mean, they wrote these
For 3 years. It's the same freaking weather. Outside, I bet you the sun's out today. It's just like, just give me a little rain. Just something. Snow, or rain, or clouds, something. No. Beautiful day, every day. Damn beautiful day. What am I going to do? So I missed it, and I went back, and I ended up going back to Manhattan. But New York State of Mind was just one of those songs. It was like it just kind of came over me. I was almost like a cipher. It wasn't even me. It was there, and I kind of stuck my hand in that cloud at that moment. Which anybody who's ever written, you must know this feeling. That inspiration thing is like, oh, that couldn't be me. You know, that had to be God did that, and I just bumped into it. Thank you, God. Mozart, his whole life was like that, which is why it took him when he was about 33. So, let me play it.
Some folks like to get away, take a holiday from the neighborhood, have a flight to Miami Beach or Hollywood. I'm taking a Greyhound on the Hudson River line. I'm in a New York state of mind. I've seen all the movie stars in their fancy cars and their limousines. Been high in the Rockies, original lyric, on amphetamine. I know what I'm needing, and I don't want to waste more time. I'm in a New York state of mind. It was so easy living day by day. Out of touch with the rhythm and blues. But now I need a little give and take. Something like the New York Times, the Daily Newsday too. Comes right down to reality, and it's fine with me 'cause I let it slide. I don't care if it's a Chinatown or on the riverside. I don't have any reasons I left them all behind. I'm in a New York state of mind. I'm just taking a Greyhound on the Hudson River line. 'Cause I'm in a New York state of Let's see Rudy Giuliani try to use that one.
Hello, testing. As you can see, I have my own fan club back there. There's this song you came out with about 8 years ago. It didn't come out 8 years ago, but I was at summer camp at the time. She's Got Away. I went through a lot, and that song helped pick me up. I wanted to know the juice behind it for you. Where did that song come from?
Well, that wasn't 8 years ago.
I know that.
That song came out. I wrote that song in 1971. She's got a way about her. Don't know what it is, but I know that I can't live without her. She's got a way of pleasing. I don't know what it is, but there doesn't have to be a reason. That was one of the first attempts at writing a love song that was fairly successful. And then, I don't know, it didn't work out. Happens to a lot of people. They put another clock up here? I wanted to write something really, really simple. It's very hard to write simple. All the good small amounts of notes with small intervals between them, which make for good melody, have been used up. One of the great songs of all time uses very, very small intervals. It's a piece of music written for a human voice. Beethoven recognized this. He wrote the Ninth Symphony. Small movements. Very small movements. My favorite song, it's very simple, of all time, is probably there's just small moves. Oh, anyone, the pipes sometimes are wrong. And it's to the very moving chords behind it. Not big intervals, not big jumps. Very, very hard to write a simple, simple song. And that was my first attempt to do that. So that's where the thing comes from. It was a simple emotion I was trying to be simple. Wasn't there? Okay. All right. Okay, yes. The fellow with the fan. Waiting for the mic. Waiting for the mic. Hi, who the hell are you? I was talking to him. Oh, I'm sorry. Now he's going to be crushed.
I wanted to know what it was like to work with Ray Charles and Baby Grant.
Okay, I got to get to that guy because I saw his face fall. I will get to it. What was it like to work with Ray Charles? Very scary.
Because he walks in and says, like, if Ray's not in a good mood, like everybody around Ray is walking like this. And I'm a huge fan of Ray Charles. I mean, my first singer hero that I remember was Ray Charles. I mean, he made country music understandable to somebody from New York. Remember the country music was, I can't stop loving you. I'm made up my mind to live in a trailer park all the long time. Ray Charles did it. It was thrilling and it was also scary, but I think the best stuff has to be kind of scary. Things that are the most fun are that they have an edge of potential failure to them. So, like, I don't understand skydiving because that kind of failures. If I don't write a song that's so good, I don't splat. Anyway, so let me. We're coming down to the end. So let's come on. You guys ate. I haven't had dinner.
I'll buy you dinner.
The guy with the hat on? Oh, the guy got cut off. Okay, yeah. The guy, you got the mic already. All right. So let's call this the thing. Okay, this will be it. Well, what's your favorite tune?
It's not on. Oh.
That's not?
It's on now. One of my fondest memories from childhood is seeing Bosom Buddies with the beginning song with In My Life, right?
Right.
And I was just wondering if anything inspired you to write that song.
Yes.
And what was it?
It was my life, actually. I was trying to, it's not my life, it works, it cuts both ways. It's sort of like children eventually say to their parents, oh, I don't care what you say anymore, this is my life. And I think parents eventually say to their children, I don't care what you say anymore, this is my life, go have your own life, leave me alone. It goes both ways. Eventually, everybody has to end up in their own space, in their own place. Either way, it's okay. You look out for yourself. My life was, this is one of those pieces for people who really don't have a very good left hand. I should combine this. And there's an effect like a whoosh whoosh. How do you get the whoosh whoosh effect? This is tech talk, okay? Chorus. Is it whoosh whoosh? Got a call from an old friend, we used to be real close. Said he couldn't go on the American way. Closed the shop, sold the house, bought a ticket to the West Coast. Now he begins some stand-up routine in LA. I don't need you to work for me, 'cause I'm alright. I want you to tell me it's time to come home. I don't care
side we stand.